Okay, how's everybody doing? So I want to talk to you about an injury that I sustained. Actually, it was serious enough that I had to go to the hospital, to the emergency. But before I do, I just want to preface with a couple of things, okay? These three blades are the three go-to blades of my whole career of modeling. Like I mean razor blades, right? Razor. Which you can cause severe lacerations, as some of you already know. Okay, now let me tell you the most dangerous blade of these three. Can you guess? This one right here. This little devil right here is the most dangerous one of all, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so this is a number 18 blade, and I use this all the time for chopping. Right? There's really very little risk if you use it in this manner because you have a backstop, right? Or if you shave away from yourself in this case, okay? Never injured myself with this blade ever. This blade I've used more than any blade ever, like easy. Like I use this professionally in film and a 1 inch and 3/4. And most of the time when I sculpt, I was always sculpt towards myself. Never sustained an injury. I was taught by a First Nations, carve towards yourself. Never away, because if you ever have your hand upstream, you're almost bound to get cut. But if you're pulling towards yourself, you have the weight of your arm and leverage to stop. You'll never get to your body. And if your hand's up here, you'll never cut your hand. And he was right. I never sustained an injury in the film industry all my years, 11 hours a day, tired, fatigued from carving like that, sculpting. Okay, this blade right here, one of my favorites, my beloved number 11 blade, is the most dangerous blade any modeler hobbyist can use. Because you underestimate it for one, right? It's small. But this blade here is incredibly dangerous in terms of it can stab and lacerate, right? Very easily, because it's so sharp. So I'm going to tell you what I did today that brought me to the emergency, and I had to get sutures in my finger. Okay, so I changed the blade to a brand new one. I call these number 11, but this is the Olfa equivalent, and I use them because they're sharper. Go figure, right? Because a sharp blade actually minimizes injuries because they cut better. Normally, I always brace the model down, like always. I cut pieces, scribe, snap, right? I never cut all the way through. That's a recipe for injury as well. Scribe, snap, etc. I drill out every opening. Like I draft the line, drill, and then I wedge cut on a flat surface like this, like you've all seen me do it. And then I clean up like this with a number 11 usually to square things up, especially when you laminate two pieces of plastic together and you're doing openings. I don't like to do openings on thick material. I prefer thin, or if I laminate thinner plastic like 20 thou or 30 thou over plywood, I can jigsaw the opening, no big deal there, and then I can easily cut an opening. But when you get into thick material like this, be careful, man. So I don't know how I did this, but I was trimming this threshold opening for this concrete slab for this back door of this diner that I'm building, right? To fit in there. And I just sort of took it for granted, right? You know, I picked up the model like this. I don't know, I guess I had my finger like this. And I was carving like that. And I don't know, I got caught and it slipped. And I'll show you on a drawing, like the injury, what it did. It went through the bottom of my finger, below my fingernail. And this is the weirdest part. The energy of the flip was so intense, right? Or fast, that it flipped around, it spun around in the air and stuck into the end of this middle finger. Right? So it's like, oh my God, right? So it's like, okay, so I knew I had a bad injury right away because you can feel it. And here's the spot of blood right here. And then all the blood was over here to the right because I reached over for like a cloth. And off to the emergency I went. So I got 3 sutures. So like the injury that occurred was like this. Okay, so here's my fingernail, my finger. I sliced through the bottom there. So I didn't hit the bone under there or cut a tendon because tendons are back here. So very, very fortunate, right? But really nasty elephant ear slice that had to be sutured, one on each side and one on the tip here. So just thought I'd share that with you, right? Never had a serious injury ever in my whole career, but guess what? It's never too late to sustain one if you're not careful. So this blade, as most modelers know, is the one, the go-to blade, right? Don't underestimate this blade. And if you can, keep your model secure down on a hard surface and think it through, because I should have known better. But it happened, right? So I'll be down for a bit, but I'll be back. But thank you all, and just wanted to share that with you, just especially for the younger modelers and the older ones too, right? The more confident we get, and right, and the older and wiser, we're still vulnerable to injury. Okay, so cheers. See you soon.